as CJ said, my name's Sallyann Houghton. I work at Epic Games. My title is Business Development, Media and Entertainment / the fashion industry, which means I specialize in the fashion industry. And it's an exciting time for the fashion industry and the tech industry. And we're having this incredible convergence of skills, of tools, of aesthetics, and of understanding. And I'm sure you guys are more aware in many ways than I am, but the fashion industry is currently going through a technological revolution. It has accepted technology more in the last 2 years than it has in the last 25 years since the sewing machine was brought into existence. 3D design software along with game engine technology is being incorporated into the design process, into production prototyping, into retail environments and marketing materials. So as a result, immersive experiences are launching new collections, labels and brands are partnering with games and digital platforms, digital first collections are launching, and there's so many more metaverse focused executions, which we'll come back to. So the purpose of today's talk is to tell you a little bit more about me and my journey, and hopefully along the way demystify this incredible, quickly evolving fashion tech landscape, unpack the concept of the metaverse a little bit, and begin to point to what brands should be doing in this space, which is a lot to cover. So I may go quickly, and I will be talking over quite a lot of visuals. Most of them will be CG visuals, so enjoy. So let's start with Epic Games. For me to fully explain what I do, I think we need a beat to just make sure that we all understand what Epic Games does, because I think a lot of people think they know, but it's not necessarily the full picture. So what does Epic Games do? Well, the company operates as two major divisions, publishing and software. And through its publishing division, Epic Games is the creator of the world's most popular game, Fortnite. And Unreal Engine is the game engine that powers Fortnite and many, many, many other games. And it's the lifeblood of everything that we do. So most people have heard of Fortnite, but just for a second, let's understand its scale and therefore gaming in general. So there are around about 400 million registered Fortnite players. It has up to 11 million concurrent players at any one time. It has become a cultural phenomena going well beyond traditional video game audiences, and it has seasonal frequent updates. It reacts to its audience. Fortnite is a virtual world where other real world IP can exist and coexist. For example, there are limited versions of the game based on characters from film and TV, like Star Wars and Stranger Things. It's the only place on the planet where you will see Marvel and DC join forces. And in the game, you can represent your favorite sports team, your favorite designer or character by wearing their skin, their digital outfit. You can even get the latest Nike trainers virtually before they're released in the real world. And there are many, many more partnerships and game innovations to come. It is a place where events, whether social, cultural, or cinematic, come together with gaming interactivity. Just like the Travis Scott concert, there were over 27.7 million unique in-game players that participated live. And that's not counting all the people that joined via YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. And Fortnite continues to dedicate itself to events, live music, and film, having regular, high-profile, culturally relevant activations. But Epic Games is not all about Fortnite, which is where I come into this. So the game engine, Unreal Engine, it not only powers Fortnite, but it's also the connective tissue to everything that we do. And it's the center of a whole ecosystem of metaverse building tools. So we're privately owned. Tim Sweeney is our owner, and he is a games developer, and he's also a really good guy. He's always been really passionate about creating a fair, open ecosystem for creators that's accessible, that has sophisticated tools for everyone, so anyone can build sophisticated, immersive, interactive spaces. The metaverse. And we democratize the tools needed for creators to build the metaverse, and our growing ecosystem really captures that need. So as a result, our ecosystem includes metahumans, which are sophisticated digital humans, Quixel mega scans, which are beautiful high resolution environments and scans so that you can build interactive pieces. Reality capture, which is the scanning material, the scanning process that was developed for Quixel mega scans. Twin motion, an environmental / world building tool that's used in architecture, but is being adopted across multiple industries, including fashion actually, and Sketchfab, ArtStation, and our marketplace, which is for selling and buying and sharing digital assets. And these are all the ingredients for a developing metaverse platform. So I've kind of said the word far too many times. I'm trying not to say the word metaverse anymore because I feel as if it's being used far and wide and it's not necessarily being explained. So I personally do this, but I'm gonna unpack the metaverse concept for a beat. It's a buzzword, and brands are talking about the importance of being metaverse ready. They're watching who's doing activations in digital spaces. So and then we're all getting ready for some kind of new existence. But I think it's really important to remember the metaverse does not exist yet. And what is this concept? And it's a fluid concept. So you know, I'm going to draw out some of the main features, but it may evolve and develop. You might be responsible for that evolution and the development. So there's a belief that in the near future, the interactivity of gaming, the accessibility of the internet, and the fidelity of high-end TV and film are going to come together and create a new type of virtual connected experience. This is often referred to as the metaverse, or Web3, or a 3D version of the internet. So within this digital space, you'll be able to do all the things that you do in the real world and many things that you cannot. It will be persistent, meaning it will not stop, pause, or reset. It will go on continuously. It will have its own robust economy. The metaverse concept will be a three-dimensional interactive digital world, a living experience that exists for everyone in real time. And everyone will be able to be part of that experience and participate in a particular event, place, activity, all together with no cap on numbers. And it will be created and operated by a wide range of contributors, a true and real community space. The arts, culture, music, theatre, media, fashion, all forms of self-expression will live there. And it's kind of hard not to be familiar with the metaverse right now. And although it doesn't exist, there is definitely a journey towards it, with more and more people having and increasing their digital presence and technology developing to allow more and more sophisticated, immersive digital group experiences. And many people are already very comfortable in a truly digital interactive space. There are 2.7 billion gamers in the world. 46% are women. Video game players represent a diverse cross-section of the globe's population, spanning every age, gender, and ethnicity. And the average age is 33. And they come from all backgrounds. Billions of people are already playing, socializing, and sourcing all forms of entertainment in virtual spaces. And new people are coming to the space every single day to experience virtual worlds and interactive experiences. So the path towards the metaverse is becoming clearer, and as I see it, the fashion industry is fundamental to its development and why I exist at Epic. So what do I actually do? So let me first tell you a little bit about how I got here and how fashion has been part of every step of my journey. So I started my days as the TV producer at Grey Worldwide, working on P&G fragrances and hair care, casting top models and superstar hairstylists, partnering with designers all of all levels. Then I was poached by the global advertising agency Leo Burnett and asked to set up their very own in-house beauty agency. And I spent the next 5 years either working with or pitching for all types of fashion and beauty brands, producing endless beauty shoots and fashion films all around the world. I then wanted to do my own thing, and with two partners, I set up a production company, obviously fashion focused, using all of my contacts and relationships. And we basically did lots of fashion and beauty, but also we came together with anyone that wanted the fashion, beauty, cool look. So actually did music videos and food as well. So next I was asked by the content creation studio, The Mill, based in New York, to set up a beauty luxury direct to brand division for them. working with fashion labels, luxury retailers, beauty-focused ad agencies, and fashion film directors, and anyone, once again, who wanted the beauty fashion field. My clients included Dior, Cartier, Burberry, Balenciaga, Target, Naunas, Clinique, famous fashion photographers, the likes of Inez Vinood and Stephen Meisel and Stephen Klein, publications such as Condé Nast and W and Garage and Vogue. And those visuals were a reel that I found of mine from 2015, which doesn't feel that far away, but it was interesting to find it. So I hope you enjoyed it. So the reason why I was there and the reason why my department was so successful was because the fashion industry is unique. Aesthetic is everything. They couldn't be treated like any other advertising and media clients. They were this heady mix of arts and garment creation, media and entertainment and celebrity, and me and my specially curated team of producers, artists, colorists bridged the cultural gap between tech and content creation and fashion. And over the span of my career, I saw how technology was changing the way that we make, share, and view media, how we interact with each other, and how we tell stories. So about 5 years ago, I was making, it's probably 8 actually, about 8 years ago, I was making lots of AR and VR content. And it became very clear to me that game engine technology as an augmented layer on the top of our own world, or as a fully immersive space, had the capability to create valuable experiences, and in many ways was limitless. I saw that images created in a computer, CG, could now be fully interactive and photoreal, an exact digital double. Landscapes, characters, food, people, objects. And I found this super, super exciting. And it's one of the reasons why I joined Epic to be part of this digital revolution. So I'm now the conduit I'm the conduit between the fashion industry and Epic Games. I come together with anyone in the fashion ecosystem, whether they are a brand, large or small, a creator or a designer, or a startup helping to develop creative tools to help the industry digitally transform, and everything in between. My aim is to help everyone move forward with their real-time endeavors, help them realize their own individual journey towards the metaverse. Now, this is sometimes through education and knowledge, helping companies understand this evolving landscape. And it's often with proof of concepts, encouraging people to test and learn and develop their pipelines and capabilities. And I also support innovative projects, often first of a kind, impactful content that shows the wider industry what is possible and where the bar should be. I reside at the London Innovation Lab, and I utilize an incredible team of technical artists, solution architects, and developers to do and I fully leverage the space. You can't really see it here, but the space as well that I live within, as we have a big VFX LED stage and lots of tech demos so people can really engage with the space and the technology. So why is the fashion industry adopting real-time technology, virtual worlds, and 3D assets now, the building blocks of the metaverse? This technology has been around for a while. The auto industry have been using and investing in real-time design, visualizations, and pipelines for almost a decade. Well, it's because fashion is a creative environment where aesthetic is everything. How something looks, the emotion it evokes, the mark it leaves on your consciousness is its currency. And digital tools can finally make things look amazing. So all of these images were created with UE5, Unreal Engine 5, the latest development in game engine technology, and it launched a couple of weeks ago. And these images show the incredible diverse aesthetics you can produce in a game engine. And every single one of these projects is totally interactive. And there's been so much excitement since we launched. Micropolygon geometry with Nanite, dynamic global illumination with Lumen, crazy real-time VFX with Niagara, spatial audio, new animation tools, and redesigned UIs. And there's so much more for people to talk and play with. All free for creators, developers, designers, for anyone with a passion to utilize. So we're now living as part of the interactive age where things that were once thought impossible are being created all around us. And that's because real-time 3D technology and pipelines fundamentally change the way in which creativity, innovation, and collaboration happens. Instead of a development process hindered by a time-intensive, slow rendering process, it's transformed into an instant one. It's no longer fixed and one way. Iteration and collaboration can happen in the moment, enabling teams to push their ideas and projects further faster. Real-time engines don't produce static artifacts. They output fully interactive worlds and assets that are ready for multi-use across any digital medium. Accessible tools, the ability to create exact digital doubles, and a super high aesthetic bar. Now that's something that the fashion industry can get behind. So what's the current state of the fashion industry here and now? There's currently a huge interest in digital models, muses, and content creators like Lil Miquela and Gugimon. And these digital characters and personalities are becoming their own version of industry influencers and redefining what it means to be a celebrity. There's a huge increase in the adoption of innovation and 3D real-time tools that assist with digital try-on, reduce waste, and drive sustainability efforts, like BODS and its partnership with CATS. Tools that are digital studios to display, light, and photograph digital assets, producing photorealistic 3D marketing content like never before. Virtual fashion isn't the next big thing. It is a thing in and outside the gaming world. Digital labels, digital-only labels like Artifact, The Fabricant, and Ouroboros, iconic labels like Gucci are building digital-only collections, and they're all using digital tools and design to share. Fashion brands and retailers are collaborating to build immersive, engaging virtual spaces. Gaming worlds definitely, like Fortnite partnerships with Montclair, Balenciaga, and Jordan, but also digital showrooms, ownable digital showrooms, digital stores, and their own games, interactive virtual experience, and then showing linear 3D content. I think it's fair to say that overall there is an acceptance of change in the industry through digital practices. So in the pursuit of newness, many high-profile brands are leveraging game engine technology's ability to create unique experience never seen before that inspire and engage their community like never before, making fashion more inclusive, sustainable, and relevant. Gary McQueen's recent Digital First collection, a collection that's created digitally until someone wants to commission the tangible piece in real life, not only showcases beautiful digital fashion, but the endless creative possibilities of virtual worlds. And I'm going to show you a little snippet of a documentary.
I really got into fashion unexpectedly. I started in graphic design, but I was given the opportunity to work in the fashion industry by my late uncle, Alexander McQueen. This project is a combination of fashion and 3D technology brought together in unison to create a new experience.
Gary James McQueen's virtual fashion show, I think, will be quite groundbreaking in the sense that I think it's covering a lot more digital aspects than we've already seen within this space.
For me, it's being able to express my imagination through the medium of fashion, but also the 3D world as well. And
I'm going to leave it there. I can send you the links to any of the videos that I show in the presentation so you can watch them all. And I think that one actually lives on Sky Arts. And as I'm sure most of you know, Balenciaga have been trailblazers in the space with an interactive game called Afterworld, showcasing their collection, which I'll give you a glimpse of here. followed that with a linear film that was built in Engine that utilized Unreal Engine to create a linear piece. And then an incredible Fortnite collaboration that featured a specially designed in-game skins, a gamified Balenciaga store as a Fortnite creator island, and great interactive 3D billboards all over the world. And then other exciting developments include UE-powered virtual worlds. Digital Village is one of them, fashion's first step towards having its own little corner of the metaverse. And there's UE-powered interactive e-commerce platforms, like the collaboration that was recently launched with Charlie Cohen, Selfridges, and Pokemon, a transversable digital space where you could interact, experience, join forces with friends, and then purchase clothes. And digital couture labels like a Borobas, where their garments evolve in real time and are digital only. And of course, avatars, such an important part of fashion's journey to the metaverse. This is virtual human Ruby 9100 with her debut single. I'm going to turn her off for a minute, she's very loud. With her debut single, having just launched a trainer collection with Adidas. Sophisticated avatars and digital humans are now singers, influencers, celebs, and icons. Grimes, the singer, created her own avatar called War Nymph so that she could send her out to magazine shoots and personal appearances, and she could stay at home. So digital humans are incredibly difficult to make. They take a lot of time, they take a lot of money, and they take an incredibly high skill level until now. Last summer, we finally launched the MetaHuman Creator, a digital human configurator. It produces fully rigged and ready to personalize incredibly sophisticated digital human characters, ready for brands and creators to dress and populate digital interactive spaces. It was such a big launch, and I think it's so important for our steps towards a digital presence that I'm going to show you a little video that helps understand how they come to life.
You create the narrative.
I am MetaHuman.
Initial spark for the MetaHuman idea was just the fascination with digital characters in CG. To us, digital humans are something magical even, and infinitely complicated. MetaHuman Creator is a cloud stream application that lets anybody create high-fidelity digital characters. What used to take months now takes minutes, and people don't even have to think about all the technical steps that they normally would need to take.
We're going after 3 really hard problems, and we're not compromising on any of those. Outright quality that you'd expect in a AAA game for a digital human, making sure that anyone can use this tool, that anyone can create a character in minutes or hours that used to take weeks and months. And all of that has to work at that fidelity with rigged and ready to animate in engine in real time.
This topic, previously reserved only for teams with large budgets and with a large amount of time, now is accessible to everybody and even to people outside of the industry.
It's like really a very robust but very simple to use system, and it's really a joy when you just sit there in front of the tool and you can just like focus yourself on the sheer creativity and you get excited about exploring.
The MetaHuman Creator uses a library of real scans of people. So when you move the handles around to create a character, you're mixing together these different parts of real people to create something that's still really believable and lifelike and has personality. But it's not just creating the shape of the face. You can also choose wrinkles applied to the face to make a character look older. But we're not just applying this as a texture onto the face. We also subtly change the geometry of the face at the same time to make sure those wrinkles really match with the shape of the face and just bring the whole thing together into a realistic and believable character.
One of the really cool features that you get out of the box with the MetaHuman Creator is that you're essentially focused on creating the high quality character, but at the same time you get multiple levels of details.
We take the hugely detailed strand-based hair and turn that into card-based groom and then into a simple helmet. We take the geometry of the face and make simplified versions of that. We also simplify the materials so that you can use these characters in a crowd or on a range of different devices. It's also creating a new rig for the character, which controls how they move, how they emote, and that really brings life to the character.
And then there's this other moment when you hit play and it comes to life. And that's really the benefit of being real-time and always generating this fully rigged version of the face, is you hit play and it moves, it's alive.
And this person who's come from your imagination that doesn't exist in real life is suddenly there looking at you, smiling at you. That is kind of magical.
When you look at MetaHuman Creator or things we're doing with Quixel Megascans, the things that are coming in Unreal 5, I think the type of content we're going to see from very small teams and individuals is going to be a massive shift.
MetaHuman can be your endpoint. It can be the character that goes into your game. But it can also be your starting point where you start creating your own layers on top of what MetaHuman provides. I feel that we've accomplished something truly remarkable here by creating these digital characters with which you can empathize. Our whole team spent years designing this database and these rigs, and we're so excited to give this back to the community around the world.
And just to reiterate, MetaHumans is web-based and anyone can just download it now, today. I'm not a CG artist. I've never worked on the box. I have played with MetaHuman, and it's quite an emotional experience to suddenly be able to create that level of sophisticated 3D. So please do, everyone. I highly recommend just having a play. You've got nothing to lose. So the future is a very exciting place for the fashion industry. We will have digital wardrobes that transition seamlessly across virtual platforms into our real selves, retail spaces that allow try-on for our avatars or our metahumans, and there'll be fun experiences and enriching a group activity where we can all hang out. There will be augmented beauty experiences where we can try out textures and colors that are not possible in the real world. There'll be digital AR stylists that will learn your preferences and help you create looks from the endless possibilities available. And for design, a seamless design through to manufacture pipeline, an immersive collaborative space where the traditional hand-drawn craft of design can be incorporated into a tech-savvy environment. A collaborative space incorporating a universal asset that feeds through from design to launch, to a show, a film, any creative content, and then can live as a digital asset in a showroom or retail experience until there is a request for it to be manufactured. And the future of fashion shows is a kaleidoscope of technological and creative expression. There'll be a mixture of real and digital models, avatars, and influencers. Fashion will flamboyantly follow in the digital footprints of Hollywood with in-camera VFX, and the music and event space with huge live XR shows. There will be immersive interactive fashion shows and brand experiences, 360 emotional experiences that introduce everyone to the new fashion collection or product, the Ariana Grande Fortnite concert of the fashion world, and more collaborations between digital platforms and fashion brands. And as our digital personas become more and more visible online, the need for fashion in all areas of our digital lives will be felt. So I actually believe that the most exciting digital opportunity for brands is the Brandiverse, which is a term I made up. As technology develops and imaginations expands, we now have the opportunity to not just create digital branded shops, but we can create what I personally call the Brandiverse, a brand's little corner of a wider, bigger, larger metaverse. A living, breathing, and persistent virtual space that is a brand specific and ownable, where fashion's passionate communities can come together and see the latest from the brand whilst accessing heritage pieces and campaigns, where you can of course buy and browse, but also play, learn and engage on your own or with hundreds of other people. A space where all a brand's digital assets can be stored, collections can be launched, events and content can be gifted to your community. And almost as an aside, products can be purchased. A branded virtual world that can grow and develop into an ever more open world. So what are virtual worlds versus open worlds, and what do they have to do with the matrix? So virtual worlds cover all aspects of space in virtual environments, small or large, whereas open worlds are large-scale landscapes where players stroke visitors can move around and explore freely. From digital recreations of real cities to bustling space station hubs out of science fiction shows, they're often referred to as living, breathing spaces, complete with multiple simulations and AI. The development in open worlds is super exciting. So last December, Epic launched The Matrix Awakens, an Unreal Engine 5 experience, an interactive, photorealistic world that blurs the lines between what is real and what is not. This boundary-pushing technological demo takes place in a huge, bustling, and explorable open-world city that, like the simulated world from Matrix, is incredibly rich and complex, with limitless storytelling possibilities. 16 kilometers square, photorealistic, and quickly traversable. It's slightly larger than the size of downtown Los Angeles, and it's populated with realistic inhabitants and traffic. The experience is a tangible demonstration that UE5 offers all the components that you need to build immersive, high-fidelity environments. And why are virtual open worlds appealing to brands? Collection, launches, partnerships, your whole IP can live in perpetuity, if you want it to, in a living, breathing space. All aesthetics are now possible, from photoreal to stylized, so any brand or brand idea can be represented. Creatives can come to a space and say, this is how I want this collection to look. These are my ideas, and that vision, with the help of a talented team, can live within a virtual world, along with all types of environments and activities. You can have a level of interaction with your community that is not possible from a digital store. You can incorporate games, gatherings, experiences, from skydiving in a wind-resistant coat, floating in a bellowing dress. Wonder and delight awaits at every turn. While not entirely effortless, these new touch points will free you to connect and develop your community like never before, earning their loyalty and their trust along the way. Virtual spaces can be inclusive whilst also being exclusive. You can have special loyalty events as well as community events, and spaces for subgroups and communities based on their passions. Sneaker heads versus passionate stiletto shoe wearers. And as technology grows, the cap on numbers will push higher and higher past any in real life space. And these spaces don't have to feel vast and lonely. They can be full of uniquely styled, AI-driven metahumans, inhabiting the space and showing off the products, or brand ambassadors, there to engage and enhance the experience of you and your community. Your fashion brandiverse doesn't have to be a digital island either. They should be part of all and any marketing executions and help you cross the lines between digital and physical with next-gen metaverse fashion shows that incorporate virtual production, XR, and interactive. And in real-life events that can mirror and expand upon this digital world. Statistics are not my area of expertise, but they exist and are incredibly favorable with concern to increased conversion rates for digital assets and increased lingering loyalty within virtual spaces. But what I do find interesting is that Fortnite and its 400 million registered players oozes fashion and everything that we all love about it. From self-expression through skins, through to real-world collaborations that bring digital fashion into the world. Its business model is largely based upon cosmetic items that continue to expand its ever-growing global wardrobe and pop culture influence. Fortnite is hugely successful in every way possible, and that's because, first and foremost, it provides millions of people a place to play. So is this the future or is this now? So it's kind of a bit of both. Open worlds are possible, and Epic and other tech companies are launching the tools creators need to build them as quickly and as easily as possible. We are living in an age where the technologies that will underpin the metaverse are available and developing every day. Groundbreaking technology like metahumans, tools and marketplaces to make and source incredible digital assets, and game engines like Unreal Engine to form the foundational software to build incredible interactive worlds. And more people are gravitating towards and comfortable in digital spaces. I am sure that you have all experienced an interactive virtual world. And there are billions of gamers in the world, but more importantly, there are new people exploring the potential of virtual spaces every single day. And with 5G, games consoles, and pixel streaming, they really can. So what is the journey to a digital open world? So the idea of a brandiverse could be quite overwhelming. So where do brands begin? So the most simplified path to the metaverse or your own brandiverse is as followed. The first step is planning a strategy. Create a plan of action for content creation, distribution, and amplification. Look at the options and don't just confirm what you will do, but also clarify why it is right for your very specific brand. And within this vibrant technological revolution, it's hard to be wrong. Then you need to take action and start to invest in 3D assets, digital fashion and content. You may already have 3D assets that you can leverage, 3D content, proof of concepts. And finally, think about distribution. Where should this content live in the evolving metaverse? What is your priority? Internal only software and applications first, or external messaging? Should you leverage the community of an existing gaming platform or a creator platform like Fortnite Creative? There are also third-party platforms that can host your 3D assets like Sketchfab, or something more interactive like a UE-powered interactive world like Journey. Or do you create something and distribute it yourself through the web, pixel streamed, or via a console? There are many options that can guide a brand towards bigger open spaces, but it's okay to start simple and evolve within the space. Brands can choose to start small and grow, or not and just go large. Invest and utilize everything the technology makes possible here and now. One thing you can be certain of is software will continue to develop and the open world option will become easier and easier to achieve. Interoperability will slowly become more common. More skilled Unreal Engine and 3D creators will come of age and fill the talent deficit. So it is wise for brands to invest in this space now. They need to build asset libraries, curate the brand as a digital vision, and be ready to populate their very own interactive, real-time virtual worlds. Their fashion brandiverse that exists as an interconnected, interoperable metaverse. That's me. And
that's wonderful. And we have about 10 minutes of time for a little bit of Q&A. And it's really great. I think all the audiences here listening to this, they can see how they themselves can be part of this, you call brandiverse. So the first question, how do you spell that correctly?
Brand, B-R-A-N-D-E, verse.
Brandiverse, awesome.
Brandiverse.
Yeah, because we have, for example, user experience designer. Obviously, in this virtual world, you need user experience design. We have visual designers from A&DD and from graphic design. We have brand people who learn brand strategy, like from AMC. We have fashion designers. So everybody can contribute if this is something that they're interested in pursuing. So I would actually ask the first question, like most of these webinar students will ask. So what would you say is the most important skills, right? Or if they want to pick up a skill and learn so they can be part of this revolution, what would you recommend?
There's the skill, and then there's the personality, like the disposition. I think that it is a very quick moving place. I constantly feel as if I'm chasing my tail. I can't even keep up with what we have developing internally, never mind, be out in the ecosystem and have to sort of create within the realms of this development. So I think it's really, really important that you are open and kind of thrive on energy and change, and just kind of have the personality to want to constantly learn more. So, because it is a cutting edge space, and obviously a creative disposition, and whether you go into the software side of things or whether you go into a more creative route. But I think just being open to a constant learning environment is really, really important. When it comes to physical skills, there is like I touched upon it, there is a massive deficit, especially in the fashion industry, of talented, creative, trained 3D technical artists. So whether you work in Unreal Engine or whether you work in other 3D software or use other 3D tools, the space has not historically in any way nurtured or grown that talent, and now it's suddenly part of what can and will be an evolving pipeline internally and externally, and so the industry relies, an industry that has historically been very in-house with its talent, is having to rely on a lot of external third parties to educate them, but also to come together and collaborate on activations, which is not a bad thing. But I think there will come a time, in order for brands to invest in virtual interactive spaces of their own, that they will want the internal talent. And so it's having that understanding, either working with the software or just having an understanding of the capabilities of this type of software. I think that will be invaluable for the space.
Great. And I also know that Unreal is putting a lot of effort into education as well. So can you talk a little bit about at least where they can find this information if they want to learn about Unreal?
Yeah, totally. I'm always kind of agog at the amount of educational resources that we kind of constantly share. We first of all just have a hub, which is tutorials that are constantly updated as the software is updated, that anyone, once you kind of register, anyone can access. And it begins with getting Unreal Engine out the box and goes through every single component in your own time, on at home if you see fit. But it is a complicated software. It's a game engine that is AAA, that has grown over the last 10 years. So it takes a certain disposition to be able to throw yourself into that learning curve. So we also support lots and lots of companies around the world that will give guided training. And sometimes some people are the type of people that will happily sit there with tutorials and work through them and really be able to pick up a new skill. Some people like a much more interactive environment with maybe a tutor or with an instructor. And so there's lots of different companies. And if you go to the Learning Hub, which you'll find on Unreal Engine, you can kind of see information about the easy access stuff, which is just sign up and click on the different tutorials. But then also you'll be able to see your local guided learning solution. And then every now and then we do very special box sets. I did one for the fashion industry recently, which was is called Unreal Careers Fashion Industry, and that was a very specific project that was based around the fashion industry. It had industry kind of icons come and talk about their experience. It has Gary McQueen in there. It had talk about their experiences. There are 3D artists from Burberry. There are people that have been developing in the space. There's me, and we kind of give everyone a sort of a deeper understanding of the roles that are existing at the moment and that are developing in this revolution. And also there's an Unreal Engine project that you can download, and just a very simple task is set, which is actually positioning some digital garments within a virtual world, as if it is some kind of presentation, some kind of visualization of your collection.
That's awesome. And we have a really interesting question from the guest. And Christie, you want to read it?
Yeah. Interesting question from one of the attendees. Are these meta-humans something that keeps going in the virtual world when we are not online?
Oh, so in So in the Matrix experience, because it is AI, whether you're in there walking around or not, whether you're looking at them or not, yes, like the cars will always drive around that city and the metahumans will always walk around that city. Other metahumans are the metahumans that you and I could design from the metahuman creator now if we saw fit. Once you've created them in the metahuman creator, you would then pull them out into a UE project. They are they're then rigged, ready for you to animate them. They are not AI. They don't live outside direction from you as a creator. So once you've designed your metahuman, the next kind of realm of creation is sort of perfecting how they look outside of the application, but also then the animation, specific animation. And we have live link so that you can literally stick a phone in front of your face and then your face can be mirrored onto their face. But it's very much you are inputting as the creator, and so you animate them however you see fit and then position them into your world.
Awesome. And so I also know that a lot of people talk about sustainability aspect of these new technologies, Metaverse, NFT, obviously all use electricity and machine power in some way. Why don't you share a little bit of your thought in terms of the actual sustainable part of the digital fashion? For example, one of the collection you're talking about, people once they decide they want to buy, so it's basically paid or built to order, right? So when they decide to buy, so they will produce it, and there's no waste in that sense. I also know during the creation process, actually this digital way of creating it is also more sustainable. So why don't you maybe share a few insights on the sustainability aspect of digital fashion?
Yeah, I think that there's so much opportunity to help the fashion industry be more sustainable. And I think that there's the manufacturing of the clothes and the distributing, and then there's the designing of the clothes. And to be honest, both sides of that equation have historically been very unsustainable, very wasteful. So, within the design process, it often revolved around, tangible versions of a piece, like many, like 10, 20, hundreds, depending on the process. And even when that piece has is said to be final, in order for it to be shared to buyers, to manufacturers, to other key personnel around the world, it literally would be flown around the world in order to be seen. And I understand why, in order to see the smallness of the stitching and the cut and the material, I understand that has been important. But now that we have these sophisticated tools, we can design and we can show that design at any stage in real time, in a photoreal way, so that the material is as it would be in the real world. We can interact with it, we can input with it, we can make the approval process much more streamlined. We can then make the distribution of that, that single hero item, whether it is to buyers, whether it is to, other key personnel, very easily. And we can make it a much less linear process, and we can make it much more of a collaborative, creative process. And then all the changes can happen in real time. It doesn't, you don't fly it somewhere. People talk about losing the shoulder and then changing the hem, and then you wait for the seamstress or you wait for the designer to then make those amends. This can be done using digital tools in real time, and then shared once again in a real-time environment so that it can be reapproved. So it can shorten that process by months and months. It can also make it incredibly sustainable. And then maybe you do still produce one piece, but you've already been through the first 5, 6, 7 rounds of approval. And then when we do then have this final piece that is fully representative of the in real life garment that you would have, you can then use that in your marketing material. You can use that in your fashion show. You can send that to all your buyers. You can send that to all your distributors. You can make it into an NFT and sell it so that all your digital brand spokespeople and avatars could wear it. It suddenly becomes such a a far-reaching asset, and it's the phenomena that we call a universal asset. You have something, it starts, it moves all the way through the design process, it becomes the part of the approval process. It never gets thrown away. It just constantly evolves and then gets shared and distributed as widely as possible.
That is great. And I think we have time for one more question. And this one is also for anonymous attendee. Say, do you see virtual assets ownership, character skin, items, cosmetics evolve much in the metaverse, or staying similar to the current structure in gaming?
I think there will be a massive evolution. Yeah, I do. I think that gaming platforms at the moment are the ownership structure is very gated. You go into the game, you purchase things, it lives and breathes within that game. And I think that in order for the metaverse concept to exist, there has to be an interoperability. Now, I think that there's always going to be room for there to be ownership of IP and assets within different spaces, but I think that we will start to sort of shift the thought process. I think we will start to see and all work together to allow for digital assets to be ownable and move across borders. And I think that will be really important for the building out of a robust economy within the metaverse. As we're building all of these digital places, there is an incredible need for digital assets. Like people, and this is why people like Quixel exist, and why there are small studios that are constantly sort of pushing out high aesthetic digital assets, because creators don't really want to start from zero every single time. If you want to create a woodland, you want to get all the trees, get some grass, and then you as a creator, you want to be the 5%. No one wants to have to start from the very beginning for every single creative endeavor. And so digital assets and growing the marketplace for digital assets, I think it's really important. I think that we have a growth in sellers, we'll have a growth in buyers. I think that we'll find some way of having a fair marketplace, and so everyone can be fairly rewarded for their efforts. I think that there'll be a lot of trading, and then I think that you will have ownership, and I think that will allow for individuality, it'll allow for self-expression, it will allow for the multitude of bespoke experiences that the metaverse needs to be.
Yeah, we will have another webinar talking about NFT and its blockchain technology, because what you just talked about, it really has a lot to do with that. I mean, a lot of time people focus on the silly NFT that's selling for ridiculous amount of money right now. That's bound to happen. But the underlying technology structure is starting to really form and becomes more and more mature. It is about that authentic copy. And when you have a lot of trade that's happening, that being authentic, something being authentic, not you just take a screenshot of somebody else's work, that proof of ownership is going to help facilitate this whole thing. So I think the biggest takeaway that I got from this whole talk, I mean, there are a lot of great points, but the one that really stuck out for me is when you talked about expression. Because fashion in this whole metaverse or game in general, it doesn't really have the utility that we in real life that we need. And so it frees it from the utility. It becomes a personal expression or a brand expression. And that is the part that a lot of these students and from all the different majors of FIT can participate, right? So my personal suggestion is starting to explore, be curious, like Sallyann was talking about. If you are a fashion designer, explore clothes, explore browseware, right? So extend your ability as a fashion designer into the digital way of creating it. If you're more of a visual designer, explore and experience these worlds so you can actually understand how to create assets for it. If you're a user experience designer, play the games, not don't get addicted, still do homework, but playing it, understanding it from the user's perspective will help you envision what's the next level or what's the next phase of user experience design is going to be about. And if, of course, if you're from animation and gaming major, learn Unreal, right? And build on top of what you're learning right now, which is Unity. A lot of these things, skills that can be transferred and they will help you grow. And there's so many different things that you can do. And I often said this, I'll pay anything to be you guys, that young and have so much more. And because I think it will be a very exciting time coming for creative.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it is. The future is bright in every possible way. The opportunities are endless. We come together and we sort of talk about, what do you want to do when you grow up? I haven't really decided yet, and nor should I. It's all about what is happening in the world right now. And I think my role didn't exist like 3 years ago. Most of the jobs that we are in absolute need for at the moment, there isn't a card in the job center for them. The careers officer doesn't know about them yet, and it's because the territory is new, it's evolving, it's exciting, it's being made as we speak. And come and be part of it. Like, just get involved and you'll find your path. And it's the most creative space at the moment. It's the most uncharted, it's the most undefined. And so if you have, as you said, CJ, rightly, if you have a sense of adventure, then just throw yourself into it, and you will be, it's one of the times, I think, in history where you really do have the opportunity to follow your dreams and follow your passions. Whereas previously, I think the workforce has been industrialized and we kind of just followed a line in the road, whereas actually it's all being thrown up in the air now, and it's super, super exciting.
Yeah. So maybe the answer to that question, what do you want to do when you grow up, is I don't want to grow up. I want to continue to learn, absorb, and have some fun and play. And I think that is the mentality, and then that will help all of us continue to grow and hopefully join together and build a better world.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm game.
Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody.